August 19th, 2022. And this is the Soapbox. I'm Dennis, and I just finished doing the Den Excelsior Mostly Marvel podcast with my co-host Ricky, where we talked about Harley Quinn episodes 5 and 6 and the premiere of She-Hulk Attorney at Law on Disney Plus. So yeah, it's Friday night, and this is our after show that we do, where we just kind of hang out and talk about anything we forgot to, or anything that didn't quite fit with the scheduled stuff. It's basically where we just get free and loose. And it's also our Patron exclusive show where our patrons who are nice enough to support this channel with their contributions, this is where we give them a chance to come and chat with us live. And then, for the following week, we just put this up to be published to everyone. So if you're catching this live, welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting our growth. If you're catching this after Friday, then thank you for also checking us out. I'm glad you got to see it for free, and maybe that'll make you reconsider visiting patreon.com/denxmedia. But yeah, we're just here chatting. Ricky will be here shortly. It's mostly just, we go straight from one show right to the other. And I know that he likes to take a little break sometimes to go take care of other stuff. But there he is. He's back. And he cut me off right at the end of the last show.
You didn't say goodbye.
I was trying to say goodbye. And you're like, nope, I'm hitting the button. You know what I am bummed about? I forgot to share something on that show. And I will plan on sharing. I'll make it part of the news next week so that I don't forget. But I was going to share this.
Yeah. You're teaching the kids or anyone.
Something like that. I'm doing a workshop at Revision San Diego on Saturday, September 3rd from 12
Labor Day weekend,
2 p.m. It's going to be a toy photography workshop where, they had me provide some art, and then they whipped together this whole flyer. And the craziest part is, like, this flyer has been circulated to the San Diego Reader and KPBS, which is like...
Oh, we know someone there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Mikey.
Well, no, he's at KUSI.
Yeah, he works for KPBS.
He does? I thought he works for KUSI.
No, that's where he worked with Selena at.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in any case, this is turning into a whole thing. Like, I'm pretty excited. But yeah, I'm just going to be going there. I think we kind of are trying to limit the amount of spaces that available to make sure that people actually get a chance to do stuff. But I'm going to bring some toys. I'm going to bring some dioramas. I'm going to bring my camera. And I'm just going to try and show people, like, a base line of what I do, and let them get a crack at doing it themselves, which is just basically storytelling through the use of toys and props and stuff.
Can I come to the workshop?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no.
That wasn't the yes I was looking for.
I'm not going to say no, but yeah, sure. You can come. Yeah, you can come.
I'll bring my own toys.
That'd be cool.
I'll bring my McFarlane DC Universe toys.
Oh, those pieces of crap. Yeah.
That's exciting. No, I'm super stoked.
Yeah. And I'm working on, like I said, I'm working on getting my whole area set up again so that I can get back at doing more of the toy photography stuff. It's going pretty good right now. So
we should give those people a free month of Patreon. Can we do that or no?
I don't know that I can do that.
Okay.
But in any case, I will be circulating, what we do and stuff like that. And so that is what I ultimately want to be doing more of, is doing the toy photography stuff. I had the pleasure of meeting some really cool people that do that, for a living or whatever at Comic-Con. And I got some good tips and stuff. And so that's kind of I think that's what I want to try doing for right now, because I've gone to a few art shows lately and I've seen like it's really, I mean, I'm not gonna say there's not a hustle. People are hustling. They gotta hustle. You gotta keep at it.
Yeah.
You gotta sell your stuff as many times, as many places as you can. Um, and you gotta keep cranking out product and stuff. But like the coolest thing I think about art is like when you make 2D art, is once you make it, it's made and it's there forever. It's like you can, I can always, if somebody's like, hey, I would like to buy a print from you, I can always just go have one made because that art exists. You know what I mean? Like I can just,
Yeah.
if somebody's like, I would like a giant mural on my wall of your art in metal, and I'm like, okay, I can go get that made, you know? And so it's really cool because like these they just exist now. Like they'll just like I have a portfolio with like 50 different toy photography images that I made. And it's just super cool that I have 50 things that I can go and and print run them to the print shop and just make different sizes and different textures and whatever. So yeah, it's cool. Ricky's dead. He
No,
just
I'm
died.
here. I didn't know if you were finished or not. It is super
I'm dead.
cool. I'm super stoked with the art photo stuff.
But yeah, I forgot to share that. I promised to share that at the beginning next week. So that of the other show,
You'll
Den
get some
Excelsior,
people to show up.
just so that people know. But I'll be spamming it, you know, like on Instagram and social media and stuff throughout the next coming weeks and stuff. But yeah, other than that, I started telling you about the stuff I have been watching in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I brought it up on the show when I should have been bringing it up on this show. But yeah, I watched all of Marvel Spider-Man. I just finished it yesterday. There was a part at the end of season 2 that actually made me cry, and I was like, "Oh my god, I
What do you
think
do?
this is my favorite Spider-Man cartoon ever." Um, so I told you earlier they did the cool thing about this show is that it uses more of the modern stories from his comics. And they do take some liberties because
Mm-hmm.
he's still a teenager in the
Yeah.
show, and he just so happens to be the same age as Miles and Gwen and Anya. So all 4 of these characters end up conveniently becoming spider people throughout the course of the first season of the show. And it's very convoluted, but it does work. And then they have a Harry Osborn, and he becomes a hobgoblin, and but then he becomes good, and you know all these cool things. I won't say the first season's the greatest thing ever, but they actually did do a good job of building the relationship between Peter and Harry and Norman Osborn, and and also introducing Doctor Octopus, which was a really weird character for me to accept in that show
Mm-hmm.
because he's the same age as the other kids, or maybe like a year or two older than them.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
He's a teenager, but he is a professor at the school. He is like a super genius that was, you know, that's already gotten a PhD and is now a professor at the school, but he has the voice of a teenager, and you're like, this is weird. I don't know that I like this, but the second season made it all worth it when they do the Superior Spider-Man. Are you familiar with that story?
Nope.
What? You don't
Superior
know?
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No.
Oh man. So you know how comics always do these crazy stunts that you go and take them as at face value as news, and then you present them on our show, and then eventually I'm like, Ricky, you got to stop putting the comic stuff on the news because it's always just stunts and it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the biggest stunts they did in the last 15 years in Spider-Man was
Oh,
they
it's where
they
he becomes Spider-Man. Yeah. Yeah.
they
Yeah. Yeah.
killed
Yeah.
Peter Parker.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They
I'm on board.
killed his body. They like dumped it in acid.
It's the black
Sorry,
suit with
sorry.
green
No,
accents, right?
I didn't mean that. I meant they killed Doc Ock's body and Doc Ock transplanted his brain into Peter
Yeah.
Parker. What did you say? Green?
It's the black suit with green accents, right?
No,
Okay, never mind.
no. It's a black and red suit with webs and really big eyes. Like it's a cool suit. It's based on a concept art that Alex Ross did for Spider-Man for the Sam Raimi movie, for the
Oh,
original Sam
that's
Raimi
pretty
movie.
cool.
Yeah, people don't say that much, like that, but
Okay,
I
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I
This is a cool
remember
suit.
it.
This is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so basically, they get to a point in the cartoon where this young Doc Ock ends up taking over the body of Peter, and he becomes Spider-Man, and he shows the world that he can be a better Spider-Man than Peter was. Really cool story in the comics. It's like one of my favorite Spider-Man comic stories because, like, honestly, he is better. He does a lot of things that Peter just never thought to do because like Peter's whole deal is like he's just bogged down
Yeah, by
by
his life.
his life, right? And so he's not ever being a proactive Spider-Man. He's always being a reactive Spider-Man, right? Like he's always getting to the scene of the crime just when they need him. But like this Doc Ock, when he does it, he puts out all of his spider bots out into the world or into New York City, and they start running surveillance all over the city so that they can let him know in advance so he can triage what crimes to go to or how to handle them and stuff. And so he just becomes way more efficient at being Spider-Man than Peter
Mhm.
ever could be. And he does that in this show for like 5 or 6 episodes. And that cracked me up because, it's still a show that's
Yeah,
like
like kids
for
show.
kids and stuff like that. Yeah. I just like my mind was just blown thinking of the idea that a kid would be tuning into the show every week for 6 weeks and it would be this other dude being Spider-Man. And it's so good. It's so good. But like there's like this weird fallout that's also happening where Peter got his brain trapped inside the machine that swapped him. And that machine had Doc Ock's consciousness in there.
Mhm.
And so what's happening to both of them is both of them, their memories are bleeding into their reality. So Doc Ock, throughout the course of being Spider-Man, is being subjected to memories of Uncle Ben. That, and Peter is learning all about Doc Ock's life growing up as a kid and how rough it was and how like they were very similar. They had very similar childhoods with major exceptions that led
Mhm.
them down the paths they did. And so ultimately what ends up happening is eventually Doc Ock gives the body back to Peter because he thinks that,
Like I'm done with this.
well, he's learned the lessons of Uncle Ben and he thinks that it's the right thing to do. And so he becomes a reformed character and stuff. And yeah, it's really awesome, man. Like I can't stress how good that show was in that second season. The third season's just kind of meh because it's like they just went hard on the Venom gimmick. They just did a
Yeah.
season called Maximum Venom, and
Yeah.
they just symbioted everybody, and they're
That's
like,
what I would expect from something called Maximum Venom.
yeah, they just venomed the crap out of the whole show, and I don't like Venom, and so whatever.
I I don't know. I could never get in. I always liked the Spider-Man shows when I caught them, but I never like actively sought them out.
Yeah, well, I ended up. It's because Spectacular ended up on Netflix a few months ago. I guess a month ago or whatever. And I'd always been told that I should watch that one, but the reason I could never watch it is because that one's owned by Sony,
Hmm.
and so
Makes
Disney.
sense.
It's like the
Yeah, yeah.
only Spider-Man cartoon that Disney doesn't have on their their platform. And so when it ended up on Netflix, I just binged it right away. And it is a great show. It's really good. Like, I think that show does the best job of showing you how much of a horn dog Peter Parker was. Like, that guy gets around on that show, man. Like, a lot, a lot of girls, a lot. Um, but the art style is really weird on that one.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the biggest problem with that show is it got canceled on a cliffhanger, and that just sucks, dude. Like, like you don't want your show canceled on a cliffhanger because then you'll just always wonder if they were gonna make it better or worse or whatever.
On that
So,
note, there's kind of been news floating around that the kind of bigger play at DC right now and the whole Warner Brothers thing is that they're trying to sell off DC. And
really,
yeah, and where I was going to get at was, who do you think? Let's say they do sell off DC. Who do you think it would go to, or who do you want it to go to? My money would be Amazon. Like, money wise, I think they could do it easy.
that's nuts. Like, honestly, that's crazy to think. Like, if Warner Brothers sold DC,
Mm-hmm.
it's only a matter of time before Warner Brothers just gets bought by another company. Like,
Well,
they just like,
that's what happened, right? They're
no,
getting
I
bought
know,
by
but I'm saying, like, sure, I guess they did get bought by
because, like,
Discovery.
if
Sure.
the the return on investment for DC right now, is it good for Warner Brothers?
I don't know.
Aside from the dark, like, I don't know the numbers, but like, my gut would tell me that it's not, or it's not good enough to warrant keeping that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. I I don't. I mean, it would be beautiful to imagine that DC would get bought by a company that would let them maintain their autonomy and would let them still continue telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, like, comic books nowadays, there's so much more visibility on them because they are the breeding ground for movies that come and TV
Yeah.
shows. So, like, they can't be as,
Does Amazon own Comixology?
I don't know about that, but they just can't be as crazy as they used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like comics just can't do as many things that just shock and awe, or really,
Well, they don't exist in their own medium anymore, right? It's
correct.
it's part of a
Yeah, yeah.
bigger plan
So
for movies or whatever.
yeah, and so I don't know. I don't know what happens to DC if they get sold off from Warner Brothers, but like, it might be good for them. I don't know. Like, can it be worse? Really? Like,
Yeah, I don't think it could be worse. Another like top one was Paramount. The premise of owning Star Trek and DC would be a nice parallel to like a Disney.
yeah, I just finished my subscription to Paramount Plus, but honestly, like, it's a pretty decent app. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent. Like, it has a lot of offerings. Like, not as much as HBO Max, but like, dude, if HBO Max lost DC, I'd be fucking
I
done
mean,
with that
wait,
app.
HBO Max is already gone.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's
Like,
crazy too. I know.
that's wild, dude.
That's so
It's
wild.
so weird, like how it's totally cyclical. Like, we're just going back to where we were 15 years ago, and the cycle will just repeat itself.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I don't know. I guess because Amazon already has, like, they're already really having fun with The Boys and Invincible and stuff like that. So I don't know that Amazon. I think Amazon would take good care of DC,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know that need DC. You know what I mean? Like, um, yeah.
Like
Because like the idea of them taking movies like 13 Lives, like I told you about, and
Mhm.
just saying we were gonna release this in theaters, but we're like, nah, f that, it's going straight to
I'm trying to think,
Amazon.
what's the last like? I can't recall an Amazon movie feeling like a marquee event.
Go watch that movie.
Well,
That movie's really good. It is. That movie's Oscar bait for sure.
mhm.
It's good. And it's
Didn't
just
they win an
really
Oscar
thrilling.
for something like 2 years ago?
Didn't they win an Oscar?
Yeah, like an Amazon Studios movie.
Maybe, I don't know. But all I know is if they can do that kind of thing to 13 Lives, they would have no problem doing that to it, like a Superman movie or something like that.
Yeah,
And to me, that would be weird to just have a Superman movie go straight to Amazon. Like I don't know, it would be weird. I think the funniest thing about DC is like, so Travis said something to me yesterday that cracked me up, because he said about Marvel right now, about the MCU, is he's like, I feel like, he said, I feel like they're taking all their B-listers and making them
we
A-listers.
have to.
And that to me is I'm dubious. And I said, well, I mean, isn't
It's
that kind of
dubious.
isn't that how they started though? Like, isn't that exactly what they did at the beginning, right? They're like, we don't have Spider-Man, we don't have the X-Men, we don't have Fantastic Four. All right, let's go Ant-Man, let's go Iron Man, let's go.
I think
You
they
know,
lucked out where they had the Avengers. Like that's their saving grace.
they had some of the Avengers. They didn't have all of the
That's true.
Avengers. And they had to do like, remember what you call it? Universal still got paid for the Hulk.
They're still getting paid for the whole. I'm
Are
assuming,
they?
right? Or it might be
No,
movies. It's just the movies,
no.
right? That's what gets them.
They only have to pay them if it's a Hulk led movie.
Yeah,
Like if he's a guest in another movie, it's okay.
such a
Um,
weird deal.
I know it's a weird loophole, but what I'm saying is like they made the most out of what they had,
Yeah,
and I don't think that's any different now. The big difference now is that now you have a world of fans that have opinions about how things should be done, who are who have really short-term memory and have forgotten that like 15 years ago they didn't know who the fucking Iron Man was. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the reality. Like that's like Ant-Man is a household name. The Guardians of the Galaxy are a household name.
that's probably the biggest swing, right?
Right? Like, but that's what I'm saying.
That
Like people are super excited to just get another Blade movie. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like it's a weird thing, but Marvel makes it work.
Yeah,
So I don't think I have a problem with a world where She-Hulk and Miss Marvel and Moon Knight and Hawkeye are the new crowd, the new crew. You know what I mean? Like it's okay because we trusted in them before to
I
make it
think it's
fun.
really smart. Like they're picking. They're pretty deliberate on who they're picking for the next crop. These characters that have that are going to have these long tenure legs.
Yeah.
Like they're say what you will, but like they're sunsetting Thor, they're sunsetting the Hulk. Not saying that they're not going to stick around for another 5 years or so, but that that book is already closing.
I really hope the book's not closing on Hulk yet, because
No, I think
ooh,
we'll get all the Hulk you want, right?
I
But
want Maestro. I want Maestro. And that is a
see, you don't
ways
you don't need
down.
a Mark Ruffalo for Maestro. You just need his voice.
Yeah, sure, but we'll see. We'll see.
But they're planting their seeds for their next 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the best part is like, I think the thing that people have to be conscious of is that unlike comics, all of these actors cannot live forever,
Yeah.
and they can't they can't all coexist at the same time, right? Like that funeral scene at the end of Endgame was like the one time ever we're gonna see all of those people in,
Oh,
at
that
the
was
same
just
time.
them showing off. Like that's
Yeah,
all that
that was
was.
them showing off more than all the scenes that came before that in that movie. Because they're like, this is how we
But
wrangle
even that's
talents.
like a cinema like that transcends superhero movies. That's just like impressive just by having all the people there. Like that's
Right.
unprecedented.
And I
Yeah.
know that they weren't actually all there at
Yeah.
the same time, but they're on that screen, like, and that's all the toys they have to play with. Um, yeah, because the crazy thing about the funeral is it's all the people that weren't even in the battles. Like it's freaking Michael Douglas. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like
Like it's Michelle Pfeiffer. It's so many people. So the like you just can't do that all the time. That's not
no.
sustainable. So if you accept that that's not sustainable and that you're not going to get every single version of or every combination of all these characters together at the same time, then the next best thing is, well, can we at least get their best arcs? You know,
Mhm.
and they do the arcs. They
Yeah.
care more about each individual character than they do about getting all the combinations of characters together. And I think Spider-Man's their damn workhorse too. He's the one that fans know,
Oh,
or they
Spider-Man,
they
yeah. Spider-Man pays bills.
they know fans want Spider-Man to meet every single character for the next 15 years. And that's just unfortunate for him, but he's going to have to do it.
You just brought up do you think do you think we get some surprises at T'Challa's funeral?
Uh, yeah, I mean, we'll
The
see.
one that goes to mind would be like if they can bring in an old Steve Rogers.
Yeah, I kind of like to think Steve's dead or on the moon. Um, so I don't think he's going to be there. But I think you'll get other people that make sense to be there.
Mhm.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if War Machine was there. Um,
Falcon was there, or
Falcon,
Captain
yeah,
America.
for
Yeah,
sure. Or Captain America, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if like um everybody from Infinity War that's still alive that fought with T'Challa would try to
Mhm.
be there. But like there'll be extenuating circumstances where some are just like, well, Spider-Man couldn't make it or what, like it's I
Yeah.
just I just don't think everyone will be there. But
Yeah.
there will have some and it'll be fine. Um, but yeah, it's I don't I'm trying not to get my expectations too high for certain moments in that, but like I did tell you, and I don't want to spoil it on the show in case anybody watched,
Yeah.
but the damn Legos spoiled that movie for me just a little bit. I really liked going into that movie actually wondering who they might make the Black Panther. And now I know because of the Legos, and I'm not mad at the movie. I'm mad at Lego for
I'll
for
say that I don't
ruining that.
think the Legos are indicative of how that movie ends.
I think they are, and they're usually pretty accurate. They're pretty close, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited for that movie.
I'm very like that. That's something like I wanna. I'm gonna do my usual leave work early to go watch it, but I want to make an effort on the Friday to go probably to the draft house and make it a. I want the whole. I want the experience, the proper opening day experience for that movie.
Yeah,
So
I'm very excited for that one. I just hope the CG is better than last time. That's all I really want. Like I know I have complete confidence. Like that's why like I know our in our little Slack chat
Mhm.
people are like, "Oh, She-Hulk's finally out. I'm not going to watch it because it's not Allison Brie." And I know that was a big rumor going around that she was going to be her. And like the honest truth is, I have complete faith in Marvel when it comes to casting, and I have a lot of faith in them just in general when it comes to the overarching stories that are being pulled off. But like specific creators, I give complete blind faith to. And Ryan Coogler is one of them. Like he gets my full blind faith. Taika gets my full blind faith. James Gunn gets my full blind faith. I
Yeah.
those three, I don't doubt at all.
I don't want to say he gets a pass like Ryan Coogler, but if he can just make it out of this movie, keeping up the status quo of Black Panther, I think he's in a good spot. You know,
I think that trailer says that
like
he's
the
got this. He's got this.
like that's just it's a very unfortunate circumstance that that whole situation is put in. You know,
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
acknowledge the passing of this actor while at the same time propelling this narrative. Like the show must go on to like the ninth degree, like or the nth degree.
Yeah.
Um, but I have faith, you know, like if anyone can do it, he can do it, you know.
That reminds me, and I don't mean to pick at a scab more, like because I we've had this conversation many times, but Superman and Lois, that show that
Yeah.
I watch,
Mhm.
I've watched for two
Didn't that guy
seasons
get
now.
quit the show, right?
The guy, one of the two sons that one of the actors
The
who
super son.
plays he plays one of the two sons. He's actually the non-super one.
Oh.
Um, he is quitting the show for unknown personal reasons or undisclosed personal reasons.
Yeah.
And they've already announced he's getting recast. And it just cracks me up that, like, it's really true about most superhero franchises. That's what you do, man. You just recast, and so it is weird to me that they're not doing that. But again, Ryan Coogler's one of those people. I'm gonna give him 100% faith.
I
I'm not
mean,
doubting him. I believe it'll work. I just don't know. Like, I don't think they were done telling that character's stories.
no, they weren't.
But no, I'm saying, like, like, so why not recast? But again, I'm trying to push that down and say I'm sure you got your reasons, and
You could circle it
I'll wait.
back to like the Shield thing, like whatever the new Black Panther does, or the trials and tribulations that they face in their subsequent movies. Is that something that only T'Challa could handle, or is it something that whoever the new Black Panther is capable of?
Yeah, yeah, we'll
Right.
see. But like, but there's something to be said about like interchangeability. She
Hmm.
Hulk is not interchangeable with Hulk.
Yeah.
They are very different, and that's what I appreciate about them. You know what I mean? Like, but if you make another Black Panther that is interchangeable with the previous Black Panther, like, what does that say about the character? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, so I don't necessarily want any of the characters to be interchangeable. I don't see Kate Bishop as being interchangeable with Clint Barton.
Hmm.
I think they're different, but they just both happen to use a bow and arrow. Yeah, that was another thing, when I was telling Travis, like, about how excited I am, about She-Hulk, and just the fact that she exists now finally, because like I needed her to exist, and
Hmm.
he's like, or I was like, the MCU needed her, and he's like, did the MCU need her? And I was like, yes, they need her
I'm
because, like,
happy. I forgot to mention, like, I'm happy this show takes place in LA.
does it?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Hmm. Well, not
That's
the. Obviously, they're in Mexico for most of this episode, but the show takes place in LA. So
hmm,
just to see that the West Coast in general, aside from Ant-Man and Iron Man, is not something that we
hmm.
see.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't pay attention to that.
Like I said, I don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure the end
Yeah,
credits had me led me to believe that it takes place in LA.
because I
The end credits are all on like Hollywood Boulevard, like the credit sequence.
because I'm like,
That makes it
why would Daredevil be in LA?
I mean, he doesn't like the sun.
I am gonna quote you on that, Ricky.
All right.
I'm gonna quote you on that a week
She
from
can
now.
go to New York. She's a superhero lawyer. They might fly her out.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think the show takes place in LA just because Daredevil's in it. But maybe that episode, parts of it did. So we'll see. Yeah, it's like Moon Knight. Moon Knight did not stick around in London for the whole episode, and I think he's gonna be in New York the next time we see him, right? Pretty much.
I mean, I'm sure we'll find out in
Yeah.
2 weeks
Whatever.
when we learn about the. That's also crazy, right? Like this is the last Disney Plus show aside from Loki 2, right? Like that's on the books.
No, I mean, there's What If,
What If and Loki 2.
and also the Peter Parker show.
That's like weird. That's like a multiverse story though.
I guess it is because I guess Norman Osborn's in it.
Yeah, the premise is instead of Tony visiting, it's Norman that visits. And that's
Oh,
and
okay.
that's where that tangent diverts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was announced at Comic-Con.
Okay.
That's how they have like Octopus and all his classic villains and whatnot.
Got it.
But
Okay. Yeah. I know that the other show I watched recently got canceled because of this upcoming show. Because, basically the one I watched was the last one that Jeff Loeb produced.
mhm.
And it's like they just basically just trashed everything Jeff Loeb made.
Do you think they'll treat like the animated stuff like the X-Men 97 or is it X-Men 97, right? Yeah,
97.
X-Men 97 Spider-Man freshman year as like a marquee event like they do the live action shows or
I mean, I don't think you understand how big of a deal it will be when X-Men 97 comes out.
I don't
Like
that is a
so
gap. I was too young
so
for that.
so when that show first came out, like the only other thing that was comparable to that show in quality was Batman, right?
Yeah.
And Batman is just on a whole other level than most cartoons still to this day. But when X-Men came out, Fox Kids was like blown away by how popular this show was. So when it came to like season 2 or 3, it was one of those like it was by then it was so popular that they did the season premiere on prime time on like a Saturday or like a Friday or a Saturday or Sunday night to like premiere X-Men. And they like Fox took up their prime time slot at 8 o'clock to show people the new X-Men cartoon. And I was like, holy shit, I'm watching X-Men at night on TV when like something else should be there, you know? Like that's how big that show was then. And all of those people are still around and still very much have fond memories of that show. And I got to say, I binged it earlier this year and I thought it was going to be a pile of shit, and it was not. It was pretty good. Like, it was still, X-Men stories are just good. Like, they're fun. They're always entertaining, and they're always like a little sad and a little, there's a lot going on. So I think they're going to make that an event when it comes out, man. It's going to be a big deal. Like, and because they still have the same producers and stuff, like that's crazy that they still got the same producers to come back and do that show, like
Sure,
that's
money
nuts,
helps,
dude.
but
Yeah, no, I know money helps for sure. I actually got all of my little X-Men boxes just to my side. Let me see if you can see them. Can you see them?
I shipped my Iron Spider, so he should be here middle of next week. So
Yours shipped?
Yep.
I don't think mine's shipped.
People already have like the 60th or whatever the first appearance Spider-Man.
Oh,
and
but you got it from Big Bad. That's right.
Yeah. And then
That's
the
right.
2-pack is already on shelves.
Yeah, that's right. Let me see. Can we see it?
See
Oh, they're kind of hard to see. It's by my microphone. It's pretty dark.
Oh,
I see that. No, the my X-Men boxes,
Oh
the
yeah, I see him. I see him.
VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're there. Um, but yeah, no, that's cool. I'm excited for more Spideys. I'm trying to figure out. Maybe you can help me. So I have 8 case, or I have 8 shelves here on the glass cases, and I'm trying to rethink how to display.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also partially so that I can be efficient with my drawers, my
Yeah.
storage. I kind of want the shelf on this side, on my left, to be armies,
Mm-hmm.
just so that I can actually show
Have
how
yeah.
crazy my
You can
armies
show
are.
off.
And also because they take up so much storage space, right? Because there's
Yeah.
so many of them. So I figured if I did like Modoc and AIM,
It's a good one.
and then like Shield and Nick Fury,
That's a good one.
and then like Hydra and like Red Skull, and then the Hand and maybe like Elektra, right? And the Hand one is crazy. Like that's a lot of ninjas I have, like a
You're
lot.
fucking still, man.
Yeah. And I figure between those 4, that takes care of so much storage space, right? But I still have more armies, but I don't want to do like 2 shelves of that. I don't know. It feels weird to do 2 shelves of
What are your
that.
other armies? Your
Um,
brood or your
well, my scroll army's
scrolls?
okay. My scroll army's okay, but I do have a shit ton of Hellfire initiates, which I was kind of just thinking about putting them on this wall behind me with the Sentinels, so they could just be
Mm-hmm.
fighting the X-Men. That way, because they're all the same. They all look the same. The Hellfire guys. I also have Ultrons. I have a shit ton of Doctor Dooms.
Why'd you put like the Doom bots fighting Ultron? Like Ultron bots. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. And then there's something else. I have like Black Ninjas too, I didn't really want to put them out, like, but yeah, so I was thinking instead maybe what I do is I have 2 thoughts. One, I could either like make the case on the right that's like when you come into the room. I thought about making it just like a lot of different Marvel
Mm-hmm.
like things, like maybe put my Iron Man, all my metal Iron Man on one shelf. Maybe put like all my maybe do like an MCU Avengers shelf, and then maybe do like uh an animated X-Men shelf or something, like
I think an
just
animated
have.
X-Men one would work. Like that's an instant, right? Like you should just do that one for sure.
Well, I had one, before, but I took it down. And then maybe like a Spider-Verse one, you know what I mean? That's just all the Spideys. Um, that's what I was thinking of doing, is just to really free up space, but
Mm-hmm.
also kind of like show off a lot of different stuff.
You ever thought of
Um,
hanging stuff from the ceiling?
I don't really want to hang stuff from the ceiling because then I can't get it if I need it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
the point is, I want stuff to be accessible for me
Yeah.
to if I need to get it for any reason. But yeah, that was kind of my thought. Um,
You should do like a mid shelf, like below your She-Hulk, like just maybe like a 6-inch board along the wall, like the entire length of the wall.
yeah, maybe.
Because then when you can have them, they would look nice filling that space, but then they're also accessible.
But I have a really giant Silver Surfer and Galactus poster that I want to put on that wall. So the Mondo,
Is that come with the the Mondo one you got?
the Mondo one. I honestly thought about, like, the She-Hulk just went up like 5 seconds before we did the show. But my plan was on that wall above or behind me is to put the Sentinel box, like
On the
stretch it
wall.
out across the wall. Yeah.
Where are
I just
you? Where are you in your frame for your Mondo poster?
Lindsay was just gonna have me look on Amazon
Okay.
or something. It's just like a regular sized frame. Yeah.
I have 2
It's
of their
just
movie posters. And I'm like, "Ooh, I want to put them up."
go to Amazon. I like your Spider-Man thing you have up there on your wall.
My
What is that?
dad got me that. It's like a 3D Spider-Man. Like the Spider-Man itself is printed on the glass, and then the background is on a print.
That's cool.
He was funny. My dad, like, I met my dad at the Vegas airport. He's like, "Oh, I got you something." I'm like, "Oh, you got me the Spider-Man frame." I'm like, "Great! Now I have to get this back on a plane." Thanks, Dad.
Oh, I know, right?
And like,
Yeah,
I mean, it's super cool though. I'm glad I got it. Um,
that's cool. But do you think that would be good to like have the one on the right be a mix of different things, or
yeah. I mean, I
because
think if you should show them off, like you got to have the three
because
sentinels and
basically I was gonna take the Transformers out and I was gonna put the Transformers on the white shelves so they don't show up on the screen. You know what I mean? I just want the back of me to just be all Marvel Legends, like all like in no matter where you look behind me, it's just Marvel Legends. That's kind of the goal that I'm going for. So I will be setting up a crazy battle scene behind me with hopefully 3 Sentinels. I got a bigger table behind me now. The way the space is being used, but I'm not sure that I want to do. I'm not sure. We'll see what I do. But right now, that side is just a place to demo all my new figure or my new boxes and stuff like that. And then the other side is just the building. But I could just make the whole thing a giant
Marvel
Legend table display with lots
I
of
just
shit
have
going on.
my Iron Man, my War Machine, and my Ultron. And I think that's all I have back there. I keep my Spider-Man at my desk at work. It's slowly building.
Nice. Well, I think I want to go play Fortnite with Lindsay soon. So
Do it.
I do want to get going. But yeah, I'm really excited about She-Hulk. I gotta figure out like a lot of different people to have. Let me know what days you think you can't do.
Yeah, I have. They're all on my calendar. I just got to send them over. I'll
Okay,
send
yeah,
you
just
what I can do, the weeks I can't do, and the weeks I can do it Thursday.
okay, that'll work. Cool.
We got to get more. We should try to get more women on this show. I can ask Selena again. See if
Yeah,
she
yeah,
wants
yeah.
to.
No, I definitely want women for the She-Hulk and Harley Quinn stuff for sure. The real trick with why I've been careful about this one is because there's so much overlap with Harley Quinn, and we're basically telling our guests
Yeah.
watch 2 shows every Thursday. You know, like, and
Mhm.
that's why I'm kind of like I'm trying to ease off the gas until Harley Quinn ends. The problem is like Harley Quinn still has like 4 more weeks to go.
I mean, we can alternate Harley Quinn if we had to.
We can
Like
what?
we can alternate Harley Quinn if we had to. Skip a week and double
Eh,
up 1 week.
yeah, but I can bug Lacey for sure. Lacey would like to do
Mm.
She-Hulk, and then yeah, if Selena wants to do it, that's cool too. I'm down to get more women to talk about
We
She-Hulk
should get
and other stuff.
our cousin, our law cousin too. See his perspective.
We'll see about that. We'll see if there's a good law representation in the show. We'll see. Yeah,
We need whatever the best law episode is.
the best law episode. Yes. All right, cool. I'm gonna go. That was fun chatting more about this other stuff and helping me brainstorm how to do these toy shelves. Hopefully, this will be looking a lot better in a week or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. I'm not trying to make it my whole thing because I do have to get ready for a workshop in 2 weeks. So,
You're not putting
yeah.
those toys out though.
No, those toys aren't going out.
No,
Those are the disposable toys. Yeah. All right, cool.
All right.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us while we chatted about random stuff. See you next time.
See ya.